All right, this is the practice chapter 2 test from Finite Math. Number 9 is really like number 1. Originally, when I did this test, I did it as like a 2-day kind of thing, and it went like questions 1 through 16, and then I shortened it to two tests with 8 questions in each one. All right, so here we go. This is the demand equation, and this is the supply equation. To find equilibrium, you need to set the two equations equal to each other because it's where demand and supply are equal. So you have negative 4x is equal to 1224 equals 2x minus 204. All right, so I always say get the x's on the one side of the equation. So I'm going to add 4x over, and then I get 1224 is equal to 6x minus 204. Then I'm going to move the number over, so add 204, add 204, and I get 1428 is equal to 6x. Divide by 6, so I get x is equal to 238. And the point would be for y, the output of the function, would be putting 238 back in. So it's 2 times 238 minus 204. 247. 272, my bad. All right. We're going to do Gauss-Jordan on this. So we're going to do 1, negative 3, 2, augment it with 2, negative 2, 5, 2, 3, 0, 1, negative 10, negative 5. So what I do is I make this a 0 first, which it already is. Then I make this a 0 next, and then I make that a 0. And as I go along, I'm trying to make this diagonal ones. Once these are all to, or these are two are to ones, then I start over here, and I make this one go away. Then I make this one go away to 0, and then I make that one go away. So that's kind of my strategy: is this and then that. So make this a 0, make that a 0, make this a 0. Make these ones as you go. Make this a 0, make this a 0, make that as a 0. Well, since this is already a 0, then I got to make that a 0. 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 and negative 2 would make a 0. Row 1, row 2, row 3. So it goes row 1, row 2, row 3. So it'd be 2 times row, 2 times row 1 plus row 2. Put the answer into row 2. So I'm not changing row 1. So let's copy it down. I'm not changing row 3. But I'm changing row 2. So 2 times this is 2 plus this would be 0. 2 times this would be negative 6 plus this would be negative 1. 2 times this plus this would be 6. 2 times this plus this would be 7. Now I need to make this a 0. Well, if I add these two together, just straight up add them together and put that into there. So this plus this would be 0. Put the answer there. So it's going to be row 2 plus row 3. Put the answer into row 3. I'm not changing row 1 or 2, so I'm just copying these down. Zero, 0. This plus this is negative 4. This plus this is 2. Let's add together is 2. So now, if I divide by -4, then it's going to make this a 1 right there. So it'll be 0, 0, 1, which is what I want. And I want 1s all the way down here. But I really want a 1 there right now. So I'm going to do row 3 divided by -4. Put the answer into row 3. Um, 1 and 2 divided by -4 is -1/2. Now I need that to be a 0. 0, 0, 0 is my strategy. You could go about you could make these 0 first up here, but my strategy is always 0, 0, 0. Make them 1s as you go. 0, 0, 0. So now I'm going to make this a 0 next. So I'm going to multiply this by -6, because that'd be times 1 is -6 plus this. So it's going to be -6 times row 3 plus row 2. Put the answer into row 3. Nope, put the answer into row 2. Put the answer into row 2. So -6 times row 3, put the answer, -6 times row 3, put the answer, or plus row 2, put the answer into row 2. Okay. 1, -3, 2, 2, 0, 0, 1, -1/2. Okay, so this is going to stay the same because -6 times that, 0 plus that. So that's going to stay the same. The 0 is going to stay the same. -6. That would be 0. -6 times this would be 3 plus the 7 makes 10. All right. Now this needs to be a 1. So as we go along, these need to be 1s. So we're going to do row 2 divided by -1 or multiplied by -1. It doesn't matter. Back into row 2. 1, -3, 2, 2, 0, 0, 1, -1/2, 0, 1, 0, -10. So we're getting closer. We're going to make this a 0. If this is -2, then plus that would make it a 0. So I'm going to -2 times row 3 plus row 1, put the answer into row 1. Row 3 isn't changing. Row 2 isn't changing. Row 1 is changing. The first two stay the same because when you do 0 times the -2, that's just 0. This goes to 0. So this would be -1, right? Oh, times this. So it would be +1, right? Yeah, because it's negative times a negative. It would be +1. So it'd be 3 plus row 1. Put the answer in row 1. So it's going to be 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay. Now I'm going to multiply this by 3 because 3 and -3 make a 0 right there. So I'm going to do -3, or not -3, just regular 3. 3 times row 2, put plus row 1, put the answer into row 1 because I don't want to change the last two rows because they're correct. So 3 times this one plus that one would make it 0. So it's going to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, -1/2, -10. And then that would be -30 plus 3 would be -27. So this is the identity matrix because it identifies what's happening. So this and that would be x1 equals -27, x2 is equal to negative 10, and x3 is equal to negative a half. So it identifies the answer. I'm going to skip this one because I only have 5 minutes left in my video. I'm going to go to this one and then do a separate video for that one. Okay, so I'm going to define the variables. So x1 or a or x, whatever you want to call it, is the number of seats in section A. x2 is the number of seats in section B. x3 is the number of seats in section C. So it says, how many seats does each section hold? There's 3 sections. So how many means the number of. So we got section A, section B, section C. So it has 49,000 seats. That's the easy equation, but sometimes it's the hard equation. That's the first equation. It's the total number of seats. So you add together all the sections, and it's 49,000. Because you put all the sections in the first plus the second plus the third, all these totaled up together is 49,000. Now we have the money equation. $25 for each A. So it's $25 times each x1. $20 for B. 15 for C. And that totals $1,052,000. Now you need a third equation, which is right here. Every seat in section A equals the total in B and C. So x1 is equal to x2 plus x3. And there it is. All right. Adding matrices is easy. Just add together the corresponding elements. So it's 10, 15, 6. The next row down. So if I add these two together, that's 5, 13, negative 6. If you add those together, right, that'd be negative 2, 4, and 7. So basically, the dimensions have to be the same. You just add together the corresponding elements. What are dimensions? Dimensions of this one is 1, 2, 3 rows, 3 rows by 2 columns. So it's a 3 by 2 matrix. 3 rows, 2 columns. So I'm going to double A, so that means it's going to be 4, 10, negative 6, 16, 2, 14. So I just doubled A, 2A, and then minus B, which is right here. So it's 2A minus B. So the final answer is 4, so because that's 2A minus B. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. 10 minus 4 is 6. Negative 6 minus a minus 2 would be negative 4. 16 minus 1 is 15. 2 minus a negative 3 flips it to positive, so it'll be 5. And 14 minus 5 is 9. So there's your answer to this one. All right, I only have 1 minute left, and I have to make a new video, so I'm going to make a second video. Ta-da! So part 2 is coming up.